Hello, good morning. It's a little bit of a wet and windy day, but we're going to be having a look at how to light a fire, keep it going, and do a little bit of cooking on it. And then after we finish with the fire and the cooking, we'll have a look at how to clear the fire site to make sure it's safe. So first things first, I just want to talk about fire, how it's presented. A little bit closer. So there's three really important things to fire, and we call that the fire triangle. We've got oxygen, we've got fuel, and we've got heat. If you take one of those things away, you can no longer have a fire. So when thinking about starting your fire, it's important to think about what you're going to use for each of those components. Now, oxygen is the easy one. We've got the air around us. Fuel, generally wood. We'll talk about the process of what types of wood to use a little bit later on. And then heat. You could use matches, you could use a lighter. Today we're going to be using this, which is a flint and steel. So, safety first. We've got a permanent fire site set up here. We've got 4 large logs around the outside, which will stop the spread of the fire. I've got a bucket of water, put the fire out at the end, and God willing, anything goes wrong. I've got a fire or welding gauntlet, especially when you're working with children. This is really important. If you're moving logs around the fire or putting anything onto the fire to burn, you want to make sure that you're safe. And the other thing is the respect position. So when you're around the fire, you should always be on one knee. This means you're quite stable, you're not going to fall over, and if something happens in the fire that you're not happy with, it's very easy to step back and be a good distance away very, very quickly. If you're down on 2 knees, someone pushes you in the back, straight into the fire. Likewise, if you're stood up, you're more likely to trip and stumble over anything on the ground. Okay, so preparation. You don't want to start off a fire by using great, huge bits of wood. You will never get them lit. So what you want to do is start out with wood shavings is quite good, birch bark is brilliant. Today, we're going to be using little cotton wool pads. These take really quickly and gives you a stable base to put the rest of your wood onto. So start small. Next, some small dry sticks. If you're struggling to find dry sticks, it can be quite useful to look up into the branches of the trees. Any wood that's kept off the ground is generally drier than the wood that is on the ground. Moving up in thickness, medium thickness, and then some larger ones at the end to help get the fire established. As I say, it's a little bit wet today, so we'll see how it goes. The ground is quite wet, as I've said, so what you can do is use a few of your medium sticks to create, some people call a little waffle at the base. 1, maybe even 2 layers. This serves 2 purposes. Raises the base of the fire off the ground, so if it's wet it will light a bit easier. It also allows the air, the oxygen, to circulate more freely and hopefully help keep your fire sustained. I'm going to get a couple of handfuls of my kindling ready. Once you get the flame, it's important to work quickly so that you don't lose it. So get those within reach. apart. I want to fluff up these little bits a little bit. I'm going to use a couple of them today just because, as I said, the weather's not great. I'll help it along. And now the flint and steel. Our wood ready. By running this down there, I can create some sparks. My job is to get the sparks to land on the cotton wool. Let's go. Okay, there we go. And then carefully place kindling on top. And fingers crossed it'll take. There we go. Once the kindling starts to take, I can then start adding a few of these thicker bits. I quite like to add them on in alternate layers, so one going this way, one going this way, which helps to increase the airflow. Okay. We've had our fire, we've cooked some baked potatoes, they're lovely. Now we need to put out and clear the fire. The first thing we've let the fire die down so that all we've got left is embers. Now we're going to refer to our fire triangle. We've got our oxygen, fuel and heat. Take one of those away and we no longer have fire. At the moment there's still quite a bit of fuel, there's obviously loads of oxygen, and there's a lot of heat in there as well. So first thing we're going to do is, using our water, is just gently start to drip on little bits of water, which will start to remove the heat from the fire. So while I'm doing this, we'll take a break. Covered the fire with sprinklings of water, which has taken out quite a lot of the heat. You might be able to see a little bit of steam rising up, and I can still feel a little bit of heat coming off it. So what we can do is spread out the fuel, spread out the embers and the wood that's left, which will help to cool it down. Okay, and then we continue the process. Moved it around, put a significant amount of water on there now. There is very little heat coming off it now. We just need to finish it off. We're going to use the rest of the water and just make sure that everything is nicely out. There we go. There's no heat left in there at all. This is my permanent fire site, so I'm just going to move everything out of the way. These bigger bits I might put aside, store somewhere for another fire later on.
Then it's just a question of having a check around, making sure I've not left any tools or any bits of debris of food lying around which will attract the wildlife, rats and things. We're good, we're done.